there we go. Instructional video distribution. So we're going to cover kind of what's on the agenda over my shoulder. We're going to look at SeeSaw, all the tons of different types of options through Google products. And then we're going to end with YouTube. I know a lot of teachers are kind of nervous, like I don't want to put something out there on YouTube, but I think it's easier and more useful than it might sound initially. And Rod's going to go through some of that for you guys later. So starting out with this instructional video distribution, the purpose of our session is to make sure that you know the different ways that you can distribute your instructional videos to your students. It's such an important part of what we do this year, whether we're in classroom 4 days or we're in class or at home 5 days. We don't know what it's going to look like week to week. So being able to fluidly teach your students in any method is really important. And that's what we're here to talk about and make sure we can help you with. And utilizing your K-12 YouTube account if you choose to. It's definitely not something that's mandatory or that you have to do, but can give you some options, especially for curating content for the future, an easy place to save things. So, you know, next year you always have these things here and you don't have to recreate them. All right, I'll let Rod start with SeeSaw.
Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and share my screen quick. I do have a teacher that, let me jump into her account. That's my YouTube channel. Is it my YouTube channel up there right now? Can you see, do I have the correct one up?
Yep, I can see SeeSaw now.
Okay, so this is just a teacher's account that uses SeeSaw. So basically mine is very simple. When you go in, SeeSaw does have recording. I'll go ahead and create a new activity. And when I get in here, there is an option to add multimedia instructions or example. You can just do voice if you choose to do voice recording, but that's what's really nice about SeeSaw. With a lot of the K2 schools are using SeeSaw because it's pretty user-friendly for teachers, and also pretty, I mean, a lot of times the younger kids need to have a face to look at and listen to when they are getting instructions. So they could do some type of a video, audio recording, or they could do a video recording. So when you open that up, you can add photos in, you can upload if you have something saved from your video. What I would recommend is probably just using the video option right in SeeSaw. So you can just click on that, the box pops up, you can record yourself giving the instructions to the kids. It might be something that you pulled off the internet you want to use for instructions, maybe it's on your YouTube channel, you could add that link in there also. So SeeSaw does have kind of limited video. The last session that I did, if you want to watch, was all on Screencastify, Screencast-O-Matic, talks about YouTube channels also, which we're going to talk about in a little bit. Gets more into that lesson instruction type stuff on screencasting, but basically what SeeSaw does is it gives you the ability for the teacher to record mainly for instructions.
All right, thank you. And I just did want to point out too that even though we're going over Google Classroom and SeeSaw to begin with, most of the tools that we're going to talk about you can use in any LMS. So don't let that discourage you if you're using neither of those. So with Google Classroom, when you create an assignment, it's really easy to add your video down here as like the material that goes along with it. If your stuff is in YouTube, you can easily go to YouTube. But if your videos are unlisted, which we'll talk about later, you won't want to go to that option. You'll want to use the link. And I believe, and Rod can correct me if I'm wrong, that if you use Screencastify, it's going to be right in your Google Drive, so you could go there as well. So giving you several different options. Okay.
Yep.
And if you need more help with this, we can do that one-on-one. I also wanted to mention a lot of times teachers create videos on kind of what am I doing today? Walk me through the lesson. So you can see here there's a Loom video. Here's a video describing the assignment for the week. That way students can access it if they need it. If they already know what to do, they can just continue on to the assignment. But this will make it so it doesn't show up as a preview. If you use the option I showed on the screen before, they'll actually see a video preview. So it's a lot more visual that way. All right, so now we're going to look at some of the different ways that you can include video, and this can really increase engagement to make sure that they're watching the videos that you're posting. You can include videos in Google Forms, and this is where uploading your videos to YouTube will be a benefit to you because they have to be in YouTube to be able to add them. So once you open up your form, if you click the play button over here, it'll give you an option to add video, but it has, like I said, it has to be from YouTube. You can't use like a Loom link or something from your Google Drive, but it'll embed the video right there. And then you can ask just a quick question to students to make sure that they've watched it. It also helps you. Do I know that the student is paying attention? Are they getting the keys that I want them to take away from it? And it doesn't have to be long. It just depends on your purpose. Now, I wanted to go through a couple of examples on how to use Google Sites. Google Sites, I'm going to actually show you how to get to it. It's really just a web page that you can create, and you don't have to worry again about anyone finding it on the internet. It depends on the permissions you set up, but it's right over here in your waffle. You can click on Google Sites, and you can start to build a site from there. I'm going to use General Beetles as an example because they've done just an amazing job with what they've put out there. And then I'm going to look at one that I just quickly put together for secondary to show you how easy it is to do. But really the great benefit, I think, in using a site instead of just putting all your things in Google Classroom is we so often spiral through our curriculum, and the kids need skills later in the year that we've taught early in the year. And they'll either, if they want to see that video, oh, I remember that instructional video that Mr. Smith did back in September, I can't find it. If they have to scroll through your huge long list in Google Classroom or Canvas or wherever it might be, it can be difficult to go back to those examples. But if you have them all housed on your website, then it's easy for them to go back and watch over and over anything that they need that you've already done instruction on. So when I click on this General Beetle example, the teachers are working together, which obviously decreases the workload a ton, but they have most of their work organized by day of the week. I've already passed that page, and I just wanted to show you that they embed it right in the website, so it's really easy for students to click on what they need. And especially for younger learners, I think this is a much better visual for them of what do I do than what you see in Google Classroom, where it's kind of line by line and it's the list view. So here you'd be able to go to any of those videos and play them, and I believe all of these link back to their Google Classroom assignments. So I set up one to look a little bit more like what you might see in secondary. So I have my main page here, and then I have my tabs up top, which it's really easy. You just go to pages over here and hit plus. So if I go to my Matter page, I'm going to show you really quickly, we will embed a video here. So I really just wanted to show you that whether you choose to embed or use a link, it doesn't matter. So if I right click, oh, I think it's going to make me go through the video. Okay, now if I right click and I get the embed code, and then I go to insert, embed, and it still lets you put the URL in. So it really doesn't matter if you use an embed code or not. But I'm going to put my embed code here. It's going to show me a preview so I can make sure that I had the video I thought I had, and I can insert it. Okay, well, that isn't where I wanted it. So then I just take it and I drag it up. Okay, so now I'm going to go back. I have my Bill Nye video, but I want another one. So this time, instead of clicking on it, I'm just going to right click here, and I'm going to copy the link address. So this saves me some time. So you don't have to worry about the embed codes. So I still click embed, but now I'm going to go by URL. Again, I have that preview. It didn't go where I wanted it to. So I can drag it up to where I wanted it. Okay, so over here you can have kind of a list of a description of the videos. If you look over on the right side of the screen though, you can organize it differently. Like this might be a better way to have all your videos on Matter. I included this down here because I know a lot of teachers use Loom. That's what I used in the spring, and it's an easy platform to use. We didn't go over it tonight though because of some of the limitations. It doesn't save automatically to Google Drive, and it doesn't give you that nice preview. So if you're going to use Loom, what I would suggest would be using hyperlinks instead of the preview, since the preview just doesn't really look that good. So I went over here to motion and stability. And right here, you can just hyperlink to the videos that you want to use. So if I highlight it and I click on this link right here, now obviously that's a video on Matter because that's what I had saved, but now students are going to be able to access it just by a link. And again, you're having all of your instructional videos in one place. So this is student view. And this would be the hyperlinked ones. Rod, is there any questions that you'd have come up, or anyone else before I move on?
I just wanted to kind of piggyback. Remember, I know I talked to you earlier today about Screencast-O-Matic. It does connect to Google Drive only in the paid account.
Okay.
It will not in the free account of Screencast-O-Matic. Screencastify will connect to directly to your Google Drive, and that's in the free account. So I just wanted to make, I was working with a teacher that had the paid account. That's why that worked.
Okay. And right here, you have your link to your drive, so you can easily insert videos or files from your drive. You can also insert your calendar, all those things really easily. All right. All right. I've seen quite a few schools do this. Several schools will have like one Google Slides of the entire week of work for kids, or everything that they need to do for that day across different disciplines. So you can embed your video in Google Slides. I won't go through the whole example, but there's a little bit here of how to do it if you're unfamiliar with it. And we do have all these slideshows available in the Canvas course if you need to review it. But as you can see, the kids have their video and their work all in one place. This probably isn't that applicable for elementary, because I know most of our elementary are using their own LMSs and going out to Wonders, but I wanted you to be able to see an example of what it could be. And then on the next one, I have an example of a little bit more secondary type. So if you don't want the preview of the video, you can also hyperlink like I showed on the website. So if you have several videos, it might be more useful this way. So these, for example, were listen to and get the pages of text. You know, if you're not able to send novels home with students, you can put it all in one place right there. And then they had all of their comprehension questions along with it. So kind of providing a one-stop shop for students to be able to do things all in one place. This is one really neat fact. I know a ton of teachers are using Bitmoji classrooms this year. So if you're not already doing publish to the web, that's how I'm actually doing this presentation, is I published it to the web instead of doing the present mode. And the thing that I think is really nice about that is when you have a Bitmoji classroom and the students get this view, they see all of your other slides over here, or they have this unnecessary bar off to the side versus this down here, the after view. And all of the links are still live in your Bitmoji classroom. They can still click on them, but you don't have all that extra stuff that they don't need. So to do that, you just go to File, Publish to the Web. And again, it's not like out there where anyone can see it. It's just a link that you would add in the Google Classroom. And the one thing I really like about it is when I'm using it, you can see I can easily go back to any page down here. So I think it's a really easy way to navigate. All right, Rod.
Yes, and just to kind of piggyback on that, I have had people that are using this say, oh my gosh, it's on the web. You know, really what it's doing is just creating a link. So it really isn't anything out there where anybody can go find anything. So I wouldn't be too concerned about it. So, okay, so I'm gonna jump on and we're gonna talk a little bit about YouTube. A lot of people are creating their own YouTube channel, and I talked about this a little bit in my last session that I had. I'm going to walk you through and show you my screen. And before I do that, I always like to review with this because I worked with a teacher today that had not been in her Google account yet. She's only using Office 365 and OneDrive and so on. So I don't want to assume that everyone is in their Google account. Now, we never used to have, and I know you guys are new, but we used to just be a Microsoft district. Office 365 is what we use. So everyone was confident with how to get there and how to log in and how to get to your email. Well, the email still has to reside in Office 365. But if you want to get into your Google account where you can do more of this type of stuff, I know a lot of you probably are using Google Classroom, maybe you're not, maybe you're just using Canvas and the recording features in Studio. But if you want to get in there, if you simply add a tab in Chrome and go up here, you can add an account. As you can see here, I got my K-12 and I got my personal Gmail. You can add another account. If you're not in there with your K-12 email yet, simply use your exact login for Office 365 and your exact password is Office 365, and you can go into your Google account. So what had happened was last January, and luckily we did this because it's made a big difference before all this happened, Shane, our director, decided to turn on the Google accounts for everybody because everyone really wanted to start using Google products. Well, my opinion, Google's been around a long time and they've been strictly education. Microsoft's been a business organization trying to get into education. I'm seeing the Google products are extremely powerful and easy to use, and they're all online. A lot of the Microsoft products, you can do them online and they're limited, but you pay for the desktop version, which is very expensive, which we have, which you have more functions. But a lot of the Google products are all online. You can do them, you get a link, and off you go. So it's made they're making things much simpler. You've got a waffle just like Office 365. You've got your Google Drive. You've got Google Docs, which is your Google Drive is like OneDrive. Google Docs is like Word. Sheets is like Excel. Slides is like PowerPoint. We talked a little bit earlier in my session about Jamboard, which is really cool. Andi in one of her Google office hours kind of showed how that works. It's like an online whiteboard that you can do all kinds of different stuff and share with kids the link, and you can all work on different Jamboards together. It's really cool stuff. Anyway, if you ever want to get there and get to that point and get your YouTube channel set up, you can do that by just, once you log in, go to YouTube. And if you don't have a channel, it's going to ask if you want to create one. You click create, you use your K-12 address, and you can do that. And you can go to your YouTube channel, okay? So I'm gonna go ahead. I am in my channel, and I'm gonna go, here is my YouTube channel. I just clicked by going to my channel, and here are all my videos that I have uploaded. Now, like I said earlier, what's really nice about Screencastify and Screencast-O-Matic, you can upload directly to YouTube. You can do this from your iPhones or iPads. You can upload to YouTube if you do some screen recording. If you use Screencast-O-Matic as an app, so if you want that second camera to do webcams, they will all give you the option to upload to YouTube. It's unlimited space. You never have a limit on what you have. You can protect those links I'll show you the settings here in a second. You can protect them so nobody can see what you're sharing unless you give them the link. So now it's kind of, because I went out, let's go back to this one. So here are all the videos that I've done that are in my YouTube channel, okay? So if I go ahead and open one up, it's gonna automatically play. This is actually a screencast that I did because I needed to show a staff on a phone how to use a specific app. So I used my phone to do the screen recording, and then I directly uploaded it to YouTube. Another nice thing about this is if you have a YouTube channel and you put the app on your phone, you can open it up once you connect it, and you can record, or you can go live. So and then as soon as you are done recording, it'll ask how you want to do your settings and give you a link immediately, and you can start sharing that link out. Okay, so now this is the video that I created. Imagine that you did a screencast or you did Screencast-O-Matic and uploaded it to YouTube. Now it's in here, ready to go. If you click edit video, it'll actually ask you this when you create the video or upload the video. It will ask you these things to make sure of how you want your settings done. So notice in here, I have it unlisted. That means there's 3 settings: public, which means anybody can search and find it. I don't want anybody to do that. This is my channel, and I have these videos and I use to share with people. So I make it unlisted, which means only, it's like when you go to your Google Drive or OneDrive and say anyone with a link can view. Only the people you give the link to can view. This is the same thing. And then also there is public, or private, I mean, which means nobody can view it, even if you give them the link. It won't open for them. So unlisted is how I keep mine saved, and I would recommend for you. And then down here, this has been added in here. Yes, it's made for kids. This means that it will go ahead and allow kids to watch the video. Now I was messing around in here earlier tonight, and I actually found deep in the settings somewhere where you can automatically make your channel okay for kids, and you don't have to change that anymore. But it's a quick toggle, and you can have that setting set. One more thing, when you create your channel, and if you can't find this, which I just heard about it today, and I must have done this setting because everyone can watch my videos. Our network guy said that when you do create your channel, somewhere in your settings, it'll say your channel is restricted. You need to turn that off so that if it's restricted, nobody can view your videos. So you just got to shut that off. But once you get your links, just go here. Yes, it's made for kids. Make sure it's unlisted. And you can go ahead and copy that link. Go ahead and save it. And I can go back to that video. And now that is a shareable link. You guys don't need to watch that. Click the share button, and now you can just copy that and paste it and send it out. What's really nice again about YouTube, it's unlimited storage. It's pretty easy to use. About everything almost everything you can think of connects to the YouTube channel somehow, and it's always going to be there. Some schools are I have made 3 YouTube channels for 3 different schools that are looking to start uploading their stuff to have it all housed in one spot. In case that teacher leaves, they still have access to that instruction. So that's a little bit on YouTube and the settings within YouTube. If you need help, like I said, just log into your K-12 Google account and go in to YouTube and create a channel. If you need help, you've got me. Andi mentioned my schools. Adam has 8 elementaries and Rapid City High School, and then Trent has the middle schools and Central. And I have Stevens along with my elementary. So I think everyone knows who I am and my schools. I'm out there enough. So if you need help, just let us know. Just shoot us an email. We'll help you out.
I did want to mention that we ran into in the spring a couple times teachers posting something that the students couldn't access. Like if you find an external link on YouTube and it's a great video and you're like, oh, I need my kids to see this. And if your students are under 13 and that video hasn't been approved for K-12, they won't be able to access it. But there will be a little link that pops up under the YouTube video where you can approve it, and then they should be able to watch it. And I also wanted to mention, thank you, Madison, for putting in the chat. The great thing about adding your links in Google Classroom is that then it's an ad-free experience, so they don't get distracted by all the clickbait along the side. All right. I will go back to the last page that we are on here. All right. So I'm going to go ahead and stop the recording here before I go on to the next page.